So let's talk about another feature that is available to us when we're using Control Live mode. And this feature is important as well, especially due to the fact that sampling is actually disabled when you're using Control Live mode, but you can still use your samples. You can still dump samples into Ableton while using Control Live mode by using this as an audio interface. If you notice, I have a device plugged into my audio in jack on the Ableton Move. I have my phone plugged right into the audio in jack. So in other words, I'm using my Ableton Move to get audio from my phone into Ableton Live. And you're going to do that by going up to your settings, which was preferences, but now they've changed it to settings in Ableton 12. And you can access that by hitting Command comma or just going up to the live menu. You go into your audio, and here I have my audio input device as Ableton Move. And your output device can be whatever you want to monitor your audio in. If it's your headphones, your computer, whatever it is you want to hear your audio out of, that's what you're going to select for your output device. But the main thing that you want to focus on is you want to make sure that your audio input device is set to Ableton Move, because we are getting that audio from the audio in jack on the Ableton Move. And once you have that set up, I can just hit play on my phone. And now I'm not hearing anything, right? So the reason you're not hearing anything is because you have to arm the track. And to arm the track right now, as you can see, we are in track 1, track 2, and now track 3, the audio track. And we're going to arm it by hitting that button twice. Now it's armed. And you can see the audio coming in right there. Disarm it, hit it twice again. If you want to arm it again and you want to hear it, hit it twice. So that is if you want to bring samples or audio into Ableton Live. Now, let's say you want to record some vocals or something like that, or you want to record your environment by using the built-in microphone up here. To do that, all you have to do is just unplug whatever you have plugged into the in jack. And now your mic is going to be activated. But remember, you have to activate your track. So now record activated. The mic on the Ableton Move is now in effect. So if you want to get audio into your Ableton Live, that is how you do it. You just simply plug your audio source to your audio in jack of your Ableton Move, and you go through your samples or whatever it is that you want to put into your DAW. And if you want to use your built-in microphone, you disengage the audio in jack by unplugging it, and you can then use your built-in microphone. And that is how you use your Ableton Move as an audio interface while using Control Live mode. We're going to talk about some of the essential Control Live commands. I'm not usually a session guy. I'm more the arrangement guy. I like the arrangement mode better. I have more real estate, more room to create, more room to do edits. But ever since I started using Control Live mode, I'm really starting to enjoy the session mode. It makes me feel like I'm kind of making beats with a DJ controller. Most of the commands in Control Live mode are the same as standalone mode, with a few exceptions depending on what it is that you're trying to do. Some feel that it's kind of limited. I guess you could look at it that way. It doesn't have to be limited, but I think it's just something you just have to get used to. I wouldn't say it's limited. I'm sure as they roll out more updates, it will get better and better. So you can still use your mute the same. You can mute tracks using the mute button, or you can mute individual pads. You can use delete to delete notes any other way you would. So you can hit delete. We deleted those notes and we can bring it back. If we want to copy notes, we can copy notes. You can copy clips, you can copy scenes, you can copy tracks. This note here, I'm going to hold copy. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste that note wherever I want it. So now and we back it out. Your play start is going to work the same. You press play to start and stop your session. You use record to start and stop recording. You hit it, it's going to record. You hit it again, it's going to stop recording. Capture MIDI still works the same. But you cannot capture any automation. You can't capture automation in Control Live mode. You can record automation, but you cannot capture automation or delete the automation. You can use this hamburger menu here to toggle between session mode and note mode. And you even have a session overview here. If you hold shift and you hit that hamburger menu, you can go into session overview. That's a whole nother video, but you can kind of just manage your sessions or manage your clips and stuff like that. So that's how you toggle that. So you have note mode, session mode, hold shift, and hit it again, you have session overview. You can use the wheel here to cycle between your devices. Any device you have, I only have two here. I have a drum rack, and you can use the wheel here, turn it left and right, and you'll see it cycling through the devices there. You can use the wheel to fold and unfold your devices. You can see there the device folding down and it gets unfolded, and it says it on the screen too, fast folded and fast unfolded. The volume knob still adjusts the master volume. The encoders still work the same. You can just turn these encoders here. You can go to any sound that you like, and you can adjust with the encoders here. The undo button still works the same. Anything I do, I can undo using the undo button. Let's get into some of the hold shift commands. If I hold shift, I can redo what I undid. That still works the same. For instance, let's say I undo that. I can redo it, hold shift, and it goes back to what I did. If you hold shift and you press play, you can re-trigger. If I want to adjust in small increments, I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to adjust the parameters. Let me do that again. I'm going to hold shift, and you notice that it's going by 1. Whereas if I don't hold shift, it goes in larger increments. If you hold shift and you press step 3, you can change your quantize setting. You hit the wheel and you can change it. If you want it on 100, you can put it up to 100. I like to keep mine on 50, right in the middle. If you want to adjust your step grid, same thing. You can just scroll down and you hit the wheel and you can adjust your grid. 116, 1 triplets, 132. If you're on your grid, if you look closely, you can see the grid changing. And you can see it right there in the top right as well. It'll show you the grid changing there. And that's how you change your grid. You can also arm your automation here. You can turn the automation on or off by just hitting the wheel. Next, you have some other settings that you're probably familiar with already, but you hold shift and you hit step 5. You can go into your tempo here. Step 6 is going to be your metronome. Step 7 is going to be your groove, where you can access your groove pool or change the percentage of the groove or your whole track or whatever it is that you want to do. These settings, you can all access these settings while in Control Live mode. You also have the in key where you can go into chromatic mode or in key mode. You can do a chromatic pad layout if you want. Then you have the full velocity on or off here. If you have a track in the clip slot and you hold shift 14, you can prepare the next clip slot for recording. Only if you had something available in the previous slot. Something else you're already familiar with, if you hold the pad and you turn the volume encoder, you can adjust the volume. Same thing with a track. If you hold the track and you adjust the volume encoder, you can adjust the volume of that track. Also, if you hold a track step and turn the volume encoder, you'll notice the volume has changed on that step. If you record automation, you can hold delete and tap the encoder to delete that automation. And if you also record automation and you don't want to delete it, you can hold mute to mute the automation. And these are just some of the steps that you can use while you're using Control Live mode in Ableton. A lot of these steps, you can also use them in standalone mode as well, but I just wanted to cover this and go over it for the few moves and commands that are different than when you're in standalone mode. Let's discuss Control Live mode track and step navigation. So I did go over some of these in the essential Control Live mode. Apologies if this is a bit redundant, but as they say, repetition is the mother of all learning. So let's start with note mode. You can toggle session in note mode with this hamburger menu here. And one quick thing while you're in note mode, when you want to toggle tracks, you can use these 4 keys all the way here to the left. And you hit track 1, is track 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, 4 is 4. You can see the track changing as I toggle these track buttons. One quick thing, if you want to go to the next set of tracks, you have to actually select the next track in the DAW. So we're going to select track 5. And once you select track 5, the numbers continue. So 5 would be the top track, 6 is 2, 7 is 3, 8 would be the 4th track. Most of these steps that I'm going to go over here are pertaining to the steps, the step keys here on the bottom, and how you can just navigate the start stops and all that other stuff. Here you have on the bottom your step keys and the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, so on and so on. These numbers here represent the actual track, and you can tell by the corresponding color. So as you can see here, the first track is orange and the step key is orange. When you go to the 3rd step, that's going to be green. When you go to the 5th step, it's going to be a magenta or pink. And that corresponds to the tracks that you have there in your DAW. Once you select a track, it's going to turn white at all times, no matter what color it is. So if I select track 1, or step 1 rather, it's going to turn white. If I select step 3, it's going to turn white. Select step 5, it's going to turn white. So you always know what step you're actually working on or working in. The other thing here is the even steps that you have here, 2, 4, 6. That is how you stop the actual track. So for instance, if we want to stop track 1, we're going to hit step 2 and it's going to stop. If you want to start the track again, you have to actually start it in the DAW. I don't know why it's set up that way. Once you stop it using the step, you have to start it again using the DAW. You can't start it from the Move, which is kind of odd, but maybe they have to fix that in an update. If anybody out there knows a way that you can restart the Move once you stop it with the step key, please chime in, let me know. But as far as I know, if you use the step key to stop the Move, you have to start it again in the DAW. If you don't want to have to start it in the DAW again, just use the transport key to start and stop the track. When tracks are on to record, you hit the step twice and the step is going to pulsate with a red light. If you want to stop, you hit it twice again. So to arm the track, you hit it twice, it's going to pulsate red. That's how you know the track is armed and ready to record. You'll also notice that the whole row lights up red as well. Just a little indicator to let you know what's actually going on. For track mute, you can just hold the M key and hit the track and you can mute it. I know you already know this, but to arm a track, you can hold record and hit a track like so, and you can see that the track is actually armed to record. You can also hit the track twice to arm it. So whatever works for you or whatever's convenient, you can do either one of those. Step 15 is always going to be your main track. So if you're over here and you hit step 15, you can hit your main track, which is the last column all the way to the right. If you hit step 16, that always stops all tracks. So if you have 8 tracks playing at a time, if you hit step 16, it will stop all tracks at once. You can always use these left and right arrows here to the far right to navigate your tracks left and right. And by default, it only goes by 1 track, as you can see here. And this all depends on how many tracks you have. If you only have 4 tracks or a limited number of tracks, it's not going to move the same. If you want to move 1 track at a time, you can hit the arrow. If you want to move 7 tracks at a time, you hold shift and the arrow, and you can see you can move more in bulk that way because it moves 7 tracks at a time. You also have the plus and minus buttons here. If you hit the minus button, the session ring will move down. If you hit it up, it will move up. If you have at least 8 clips going on, you can hold shift and hit down and it will group it in groups of 4. You can navigate by 4. I only have 8 clips here, so that's why it's only moving 2 times. But if you have more than 8 clips, or if I have more than 8 clips, it'll move in groups of 4. I did want to cover this because it's not so much telling the Move what to do, it's just how to navigate around the DAW when you're only using your Ableton Move in Control Live. Some people have been having problems with this. It just hasn't been working correctly for whatever reason. It just wasn't connecting, or they were having network issues, or it just wasn't working properly. So let's do this. You cannot access Move Manager while you are in Control Live mode. So you have to go into standalone mode by hitting Shift, Setup menu, and you put it in standalone mode. Now that the Move is in standalone mode, go to Move Manager and set it up. So let's do that. So we're going to go to Move Manager, and it's going to tell you to go to move.local. So let's go to move.local. Move.local is not working in Chrome. So we're going to go to Safari. Chrome seems to give issues. I don't know why. I used Safari and it went straight to move.local. I'm not sure why Chrome gives so many issues. So as you can see, I went straight to Move Manager here using Safari. Now that I'm in Move Manager, I can now go into Control Live mode. So let's do that. Control Live. And now I'm in Control Live mode. Let's check to make sure. You can see the session ring and my tracks are being navigated using the track key. So good, I'm in session mode. All right, so now let's go to sets. I'm here in my sets here, and I'm gonna load track 8. I'm gonna click on it. It's gonna say save changes to set 11. That was a previous set I was working on. I don't need to save any changes. Don't save, and it's gonna load track 8. It just loaded track 8. All right, that's track 8. And the Move Manager seems to be working just fine. Let's go back into Move Manager and load a different set. Let's load set 26. Gonna go to downloads. We're gonna double click. It says save changes to set 8. I don't need to save any changes. Don't save. Now set 26 is here. So it's working. It's working. I just loaded 2 sets. I'm still in Control Live mode. I also want to point this out. When you download your sets, if you're using a Mac, I'm using a Mac, by the way. So I create a folder and I drag it here to my places in Ableton, and I drag these sets into that folder. And I have all of these sets that I downloaded now in my Ableton DAW. If you don't know how to set up the folder or set up a folder and drag it into your sets or add it into your Ableton places, let me know and I'll do a video on that. I'm sure there's several videos out there on it, but you're basically just creating a folder. You're going to drag it into a place on your computer, and then you're going to add that folder to the places in your Ableton. And then when you download these sets using the Move Manager, you can just take these sets and drag them directly into that folder there. So that way you don't have to keep doing this. You'll always have a folder with your sets right here in Ableton using Move Manager while you're in Control Live mode, and it seems to be working. The problem comes from the USB cords. You have to make sure you use the proper USB-C cord, preferably the cord that came with the Ableton Move. If it's not a cord that came with the Ableton Move, use a class compliant cord, because that cord will give you so many problems. You'll think that there's something wrong, but it's just the cord. You need to change that cord. I also wanted to point out, you don't have to do too much navigating around. If you don't have to, or if you don't want to, you can just hit that little icon and it'll always take you to the home screen. You can access your sets. You can access your recordings that you have. You can access all your samples here. You can access your presets. And you can even see your storage use and your version. You can see here, I'm up to date. And you also have access to your Ableton Cloud if you want to start linking your Ableton note sets. But yeah, before we get out of here, let me try Chrome one more time. I'm going to download set 1 if it lets me do it. And as you see, Chrome is not working. Something's going on with the Chrome browser for me. Others say they have issues with the Chrome browser too. Maybe I need to update it. I'm not sure. But for now, if you're using a Mac, just use Safari. Safari seems to work like a dream. So you go into the setup menu and you go into standalone mode. You authenticate your Move. And once it's authenticated and you actually connect to the Move Manager, then you can go into your Control Live mode and you can use it and go into your sets and get things into and out of Ableton. I even had issues with it for a while until I found my Ableton Move cord, and I found out it was the USB-C cord that was giving me issues. Change your cords, make sure your cords are up to date, make sure your browsers are up to date, make sure you clear your caches and all that other good stuff if you want to use your Move Manager while you are in Control Live mode.